So you may have heard some lifters say that your workout split doesn't matter. They'll say, oh, just train hard, get close to failure, try to progressive overload and you'll grow. Well, technically, yes, that is kind of true. That's kind of also like telling someone that's trying to lose body fat, oh, what you eat doesn't matter, just be in a caloric deficit, you'll figure it out. Again, technically speaking, yes, but some foods will make it a lot easier. Easier or a lot harder for you to actually maintain that caloric deficit. And the same principle applies to your workout split, because your workout split ultimately determines how much volume is distributed across the week. Volume and effort create fatigue. Fatigue negatively impacts performance, and performance drives progression. So while your workout split isn't the only thing that matters, it definitely influences how easy or how hard it will be for you to actually see progress long term. And if your goal is to build muscle efficiently or even body recomp, well, you're definitely going to avoid doing the wrong split. So here's why your current workout split could be limiting your gains. Let's get into it. So first, I'm going to debunk the argument that workout splits don't matter. Secondly, I'm going to be explaining the 3 common ways your workout split can quietly be limiting your gains. Thirdly, I'm going to actually show you how to choose an effective workout split for your own personal situation. And lastly, I'm going to review my favorite workout splits depending on the number of days you can actually go. Sound good? Let's get into it. Okay, so debunking the whole notion that workout splits don't matter, let's get into it. So here's where the argument comes from. Hypertrophy, that is building muscle, is driven by mechanical tension. The more mechanical tension experienced by the muscle, the better the hypertrophy outcomes. On top of that, there seems to be a dose response to the number of volume you do and hypertrophy, meaning up to a certain degree, roughly 20 sets, the more sets that you do that are also equally hard, the better for hypertrophy that would be. Up to plus or minus 20 sets per week. That practically means the way you maximize mechanical tension within one set is by training as hard as you possibly can in that set, aka you take it all the way to failure. So people conclude that, oh, if I just train hard, the workout split doesn't actually matter. And if you're viewing things from that one specific set, yes, that's true, but it's ultimately incomplete. That's like a really tight lens when all this is going on. What I mean is that you usually don't just do one set of an exercise for an entire workout. No, you do multiple sets of multiple exercises in one workout, each of which requiring more energy and increasing fatigue. And as I mentioned in the beginning, fatigue limits our ability to train as hard. Thus, the way that you manage this interaction you're having between exercise from exercise is really, well, with your workout order and your workout split. Thus, your workout split ultimately determines 1, how much volume you're doing per muscle group per day. 2, of that volume, how much of it is actually productive for muscle growth? AKA, it's not junk volume. Basically, how much volume is not too limited by fatigue? And 3, how well do you actually recover from working out so hard? Basically, if fatigue accumulates too quickly within a workout, performance drops. If performance drops, well, the load and reps drop. If the load and reps drops, well, the total effective stimulus on that muscle drops as well, which also means less mechanical attention and less of a stimulus for muscle growth, at least compared to if you were not fatigued. On the other hand, if your weekly routine allows you to perform high quality volume without running into recovery issues, well, inevitably you're gonna be able to train harder and you should be able to grow faster. So the workout split doesn't actually build you muscle, but it definitely determines how well you can apply the variables they actually do. It's kind of like NVIDIA writing the blueprint and then TSM creating the chips. It's a good analogy, right? So the better question isn't, do workout splits matter? It's, does your workout split allow you to train at a high enough intensity and with a high enough amount of volume that is effective for muscle growth, that's roughly 8 to 20 sets, and allows you to still be fully recovered so you can do both consistently over the long term. And moving on to the next section, this is 3 ways your workout split can quietly be limiting your gains. Starting with the first one, and that is too much intra-workout fatigue. Now this mainly happens with 1 or 2 muscles in a very more condensed type of split like a bro split or a push-pull leg. For example, let's take a classic leg day. You might start out the workout with a barbell bench press, and then the incline dumbbell bench press, and then cable flies, and then maybe dips or something, I don't know. Now I guarantee, assuming that you're doing 3 sets each, by the time you get to like the 3rd exercise, so in this case, cable flies, your chest is probably already pretty tired and your performance is probably declining. Not because cable flies is inherently any harder than the first 2 exercises, but it's because your chest has probably accumulated a lot of fatigue. Now here's where things might get a little confusing. Even if you take that 3rd exercise and take it all the way to failure and train as hard as you can, training to failure in that more fatigued state isn't as productive for muscle growth compared to if you were not fatigued. So basically, when too much volume for 1 or 2 muscle groups is all crammed into one workout, your later sets often become lower stimulus relative to effort, meaning you basically hit failure sooner compared to if you were completely fresh. Now here's a test if you don't believe me. For those doing a bro split, Arnold split, or PPL, take your chest day or your push day and track the weights and reps on the very last chest exercise of that workout. And then 1 week later when you train chest again, make that last exercise the very first exercise you do when you walk into the gym. Watch, I guarantee you're gonna be hitting some sort of rep PR or a weight PR. And it's not because you got all the stronger in just 1 week. No, it's mainly because you've been doing that exercise in a more fatigued state before. Now the second way your workout split can be quietly limiting your gains is muscle overlap. Now this is especially relevant for you if you're doing an Arnold split, because if we take something like an Arnold split, you're doing chest and back, and then shoulders, and then arms, and then legs. Now the problem with this is, other than arms, you're not really truly isolating the chest and back only, and you're not truly isolating the shoulders. Allow me to explain. On your chest and back day, your front delts are still gonna be involved in your presses, your triceps are gonna be involved in your presses, your biceps are gonna be involved in your pulls, and your rear delts are gonna be involved in your rows. And then let's look at the next day, shoulders. Well, your triceps are still gonna be involved in your presses. So by the time you get to the 3rd day, which is arms, well, your triceps have already kind of been trained the past 2 days in a row. Now this is a problem because ideally, you want roughly 48 hours of rest before training the same muscle group again to make sure it's fully recovered and your performance will be good. But if you repeatedly train that muscle in a partially fatigued state where you're not getting 48 hours of rest, well, you're just gonna be capping your performance. And the 3rd reason your workout split can be quietly killing your gains is frequency. If you only train a muscle once per week, well, that means you have to fit all your entire volume in one workout. Like I said before, that's really not that optimal. Now, why isn't that optimal? Well, for the past reasons I just explained. That is why for most natural lifters, training a muscle group twice per week is more effective for muscle growth than training it only once per week. And not because once per week doesn't work, but because higher frequencies allow you to manage fatigue better and get in more high quality sets. So frequency isn't just another random variable, it's often the solution to the first 2 problems. And unfortunately, some splits don't actually allow you to get a high frequency across muscle groups. Talking to you, bro split. So now that you understand what's problematic in a workout split, the good news is that we can reverse engineer your workout routine to avoid these problems. So here's the juicy part. How to choose an effective workout split. Now instead of asking, yo, what is the best workout split, just give it to me. Well, you need to answer these questions. First, it all starts with how many days per week can you actually dedicate to the gym? Secondly, can I maintain a high performance across the entire workout, or am I doing too much volume? Good telltale sign is if you're seeing that you're plateauing on your later exercises in the workout, well, you might be dragging the workout too long. 3, am I avoiding common overlaps between muscle groups, even those secondary muscle groups that are involved in compound lifts? 4, am I training most, if not all muscle groups at least twice per week? And 5, does my workout split allow me to rest every single muscle group at least 2 days, that is 48 hours, before training again? An effective workout split allows you to do all of these things. In general, not gonna lie, the broader splits tend to be better at doing all of these things. Now to give you guys a little bit of sauce for staying this long into the video, I'm gonna tell you the best workout split based off of the number of days you want to go in the gym. All I ask is that you hit the like button and consider subscribing, as I'm literally giving you information that no other fitness coach gives you. Let's be honest. Starting with 1 day per week, bump it up to at least 2 days. Come on, you can probably commit more than 1 day per week. 2 days per week. I would recommend a double full body workout split. Just make sure that you have one rest day in between. 3 days per week, I would do a 3 times full body split, once again with rest days in between. The alternative is doing an upper lower and then a full body, just again, make sure there is a rest between the lower body day and the full body day. 4 days per week, I would recommend a double upper lower split, and even better if you can break that split in half and have a rest day between. 5 days per week, we get kind of juicy. I would recommend a 2 times upper lower split and then an accessory day on that 5th day. Now, if you don't want to do an accessory day, that 5th day can be another upper body workout, or if you flip the order and do lower, upper, that 5th day can be another lower body day. Although it's up to you whether you want to be doing 3 lower body days in a week. Now, 6 days per week, I would recommend either a triple upper lower split, or my personal favorite, upper lower, upper, and then an accessory day on that 6th day. And then once again, if you want to do a lower focus version, you can flip that order and do a lower, upper, lower, and then the accessory day as a 6th day. And then for 7 days per week, you can get a life. I'm kidding, but like, you probably don't need to be going every single day. Perhaps consider doing something else like cardio or stretching or another non-weightlifting activity. Now, if you didn't notice already, I really like the upper lower split. Not because upper lower is like magic, but because it naturally accomplishes these things. It spreads the volume across the week, and thus it also reduces intra-session fatigue, manages overlap cleanly because you're teetering between upper lower, there's no way it's gonna get mixed up. And as long as you're going 4 days per week, you can hit every single muscle group at least twice per week. Now, me personally, the backbone of my split is upper lower. And if you're not convinced that you can build muscle going 4 times per week doing upper lower, well, let me show you my client Mateo. When he joined me, he was doing a different split, and then he switched over to a 4-day upper lower that I created for him. And over 16 weeks, paired with his own effort and might, he was able to make this transformation in my fitness coaching program. Clearly, he was able to build muscle and looks like he also body recomped as well, meaning he wasn't even in a calorie surplus. And the crazy part is he wasn't even at that high of a body fat percentage, but he actually looks like he lost some fat and weighed in at a lighter weight after 16 weeks. So he wasn't even bulking in a calorie surplus. Quite the opposite. He was body recomping in a small deficit. Now, I'm not saying it is because he was doing an upper-lower split that he was able to make this transformation, but let's be honest, the workout split probably helped him actually train efficiently, recover fast enough so he can continue to train hard, and then repeat the process over time without his performance degrading across those 16 weeks. Now, if you want to put your own workout routine to the test, you can follow me on Instagram and then DM the word audit, where I'm gonna send you my 6-point workout routine checklist so you can see if your workout routine is actually optimized or not. It's relatively simple. There's only 6 points to look at. Outside this video, that should be a pretty good place to start to see if your workout routine is actually good or not. Plus, you'll be able to apply it immediately. So if you're training hard but not seeing the progress you expected, well, it may not be your effort, it may literally be your workout routine. Before you add more sets, more exercises, and think you're just not training hard enough, you should look at how those sets and exercises are actually organized. Because sometimes progress is not limited by how hard you're working. It is limited by how intelligently that work is distributed. Good luck.
Look. Quick question, who actually looks better? Not who benches more, not who trains harder, who looks better. Because one of these chests completely changes how your entire physique looks and the other one doesn't. Now really think about this, why do some guys look crazy in a plain white t-shirt and other guys train chests all the time and still look flat? And the reason is because it's not about effort, it's about how you train. And I know this firsthand because I didn't just have a flat chest, I literally had a hole in my chest called pectus excavatum. This was literally my biggest insecurity growing up. I literally avoided taking my shirt off, I would slouch to hide it, and my chest was the main thing I hated seeing in the mirror. And yeah, I was technically working out. I did tons of push-ups, random chest exercises, whatever I saw online, but nothing changed. And the reason is because I wasn't training properly. And here's the crazy part, once I actually started training the right way, using the right exercises, the right angles, and actually progressing over time, my chest grew extremely fast. And I'm not talking about years here. I literally saw crazy changes in months. And no, that wasn't because of a syringe.
I saw that. He's not natty.
It was actually because of these two exercises that I'm gonna cover in this video. Two exercises that filled out my chest, fixed my proportions, and turned my biggest insecurity into one of my strongest features. And before we jump in, if you wanna also get a customized plan built around your body, your struggles, and also your schedule, you can apply to work with me one-on-one through the first link in my bio. And I help guys go every day from flat chest to full and aesthetic chests way faster than they would have done on their own. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's get into the fun part. And I first wanna start with why most chest training fails. And here's where most people mess up. They think chest growth comes from doing more, more exercises, more sets, more chest days. So they throw in flat bench, incline bench, machines, flies, push-up, dips, all into one workout. And then what do they get? They get shoulder pain, elbow pain, and their chest looks exactly the same. So if you're not natural, and you're not going to grow from doing everything. You're going to be growing by doing the right things hard and sticking to them consistently. But yeah, chest growth really comes from doing two things, getting a deep stretch under load and also getting a strong and controlled contraction. And most people miss both. They bounce the weight on presses, they swing on flies, and they let their shoulders and triceps do most of the work when they're training chest. So their chest never actually gets the signal to grow, and that's why these two next exercises that I'm going to cover work extremely well. So first thing I want to say is that yes, your chest is technically one muscle, but visually it's actually two parts. So there's going to be your upper chest and your lower chest. And if your upper chest is underdeveloped, then your physique will look flat, saggy, and bottom heavy. And if you want an aesthetic chest, then the upper chest is really going to be the most important part. And that's why this first exercise is non-negotiable. And that is the incline dumbbell press. This is honestly the exercise that fixed my chest, not flat bench, not machines, incline dumbbell press. And it works because it properly biases the upper chest. It allows you to get a deep stretch at the bottom and forces each side to work on its own. To set it up, first thing you got to do is put up the bench at around 30 degrees, any higher, and it's going to turn into a shoulder press. Plant your feet, make sure you brace your core, and pull your shoulder blades back and down. Down so that they're locked. And when you press, make sure that you lower the dumbbells for 2 to 3 seconds, feel the stretch at the bottom, and pause briefly to make sure that you're not using any momentum. and then press up under control. You know, don't fully lock out either because you want to keep tension on your chest, and your elbows should always be around 45 degrees because if you go too wide, you're gonna end up fucking up your shoulders, and if you're tucking too much, you're gonna be emphasizing triceps a lot more than you should. And when it comes to progression, you want to make sure that you're not ego lifting. All right, first thing you want to do is when you hit 10 to 12 reps, clean reps on your sets, that's when you add more weight. You know, if the jump is too big, add reps instead. If you're not able to add weight, just do more and more reps until you get to 12 reps, and then you can up the weight from there. And that's pretty much how you're gonna be able to build muscle. And listen, if your upper chest isn't growing after this, it's not genetics, it's how you're doing it. So make sure you're focusing on not doing these common mistakes, which would be overarching, bouncing the weight, and turning it into an actual shoulder press. You know, focus on the contraction and the stretch, and this is gonna be probably the best exercise you're ever gonna do to grow your upper chest. But obviously this exercise is not gonna be enough to build that aesthetic chest, because what's missing is going to be the lower part of your chest, which brings me to exercise number 2, and that is going to be seated cable flies. And also a quick pause here, because none of this is gonna matter if your nutrition is off. You've probably heard the saying, your abs are made in the kitchen, and the same thing applies to your chest and pretty much every other muscle. And the easiest way to stay consistent with your diet is gonna be Cali-Eye. That's what I use. This app literally lets you take a picture of your meal, and it's gonna track the calories and the macros for you, your protein, your carbs, and your fats. And it's also pretty clutch when you're eating out. And the scans have been fast and accurate for me so far, but I always make sure to double check the ingredients to make sure that they're precise, because sometimes the app might miss something. So you can literally add a new ingredient if needed, but it saves me a ridiculous amount of time. And also my favorite feature is the barcode one. So you can literally take a protein bar, for example, and you can scan the barcode, and it's the best part. Honestly, like, it saves me a ton of time. I use it every single day. And the best part is it uses the same food database as MyFitnessPal, but it's cheaper. So stop guessing and start tracking. Download Cali-Eye. You can find it in the first link in bio. Just click on it, and you can use my code UsainYT for a 3-day free trial. Check it out. And this is where most people completely mess up the flies. You know, cables are better for one simple reason, and that is constant tension. Dumbbells will lose tension when you get to the top, but tables don't. And this is exactly how you do them. So first thing you want to do is set the pulley at chest height, step forward slightly and sit down, and keep a slight bend in your elbows as you're doing them the entire time. And from here, all you want to do is control the negative for 2 to 3 seconds. And when you get to the bottom, I want you to pause to really feel the stretch and really get the mind to muscle connection. And also keep in mind that this is not a press, it's a fly. So if you can cheat it, then that means that the weight is too heavy, and we want to focus on quality, not numbers here, all right? So make sure you go as heavy as possible, but with a clean form to be able to do at least 10 to 12 reps. All right, but now that we've covered this, we're gonna move over to programming, and we're gonna be able to put all of this together so that you actually grow, because the exercises are only half of the job, but how you use them is what's gonna make the results happen. And if you're natural, you need to focus on training chest 1 to 2 times per week, and also make sure that you're recovering properly. So your chest day should literally just be incline dumbbell press for 3 sets to failure, and seated cable flies for 2 sets. That's it. 5 hard sets close to failure and tracked. For the reps, you can aim for 8 to 12 on the incline and 12 to 15 on the flies. Pretty simple. That's what I've been sticking to, and it's been working amazing. 12 to 15 failure and tracked. For the reps, you can aim for 8 to 12 on the incline and 12 to 15 on the flies. Pretty simple. That's what I've been sticking to, and it's been working amazing for me. And also what I do for the rest is I make sure to rest between 2 to 3 minutes on the presses and 90 seconds to 120 seconds on the fly. So 1.5 to 2 minutes. And if your numbers aren't slowly improving, then that means you're not growing, all right? So make sure that you're training for failure, make sure you're recovering properly, make sure you're following all of the cues that we've mentioned. And also, if you feel like you're getting your ass beat by the gym, make sure to take a rest day, because your muscles are gonna grow when you recover. So yeah, train like this, eat properly, and stay consistent. And in 8 to 12 weeks, your chest will look fuller, your upper chest will pop, and your shirts will fit completely different. And here's the truth. Honestly, most guys don't even have bad genetics. They just haven't trained the right way long enough. And they overthink everything, miss a workout or have a bad meal. It doesn't matter. What matters the most is what you're gonna do next. This isn't about having a big chest. It's about finally liking how you look when you look in the mirror and being proud of the effort that you put in. So don't overthink it. Just follow the steps that I've given you, and trust me, if you do it consistently, you're gonna see the results from it. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Now you know the 2 exercises that will actually make your chest pop. These are the exact same movements that I still use every single week. Make sure you go follow me on Instagram at HoustonFHG. I drop new videos every single day. Like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment telling me which part helped you the most. I appreciate you guys, and as always, love y'all. Peace.
So that was my pre-workout meal. Some quick digesting carbs between protein Rice Krispie, which just never gets old, and 2 cups of apple juice, and then a little extra protein on top of that. So mostly just protein. Protein and carbs there, keeping the fat low. Usually digest pretty quickly, and then I've got some energy to get after it in the session. I think a few of you were asking why the apple juice in the previous video, which was a full day of eating, and that's why. Just quick digesting carb. It's a pretty dense carb as well, so I don't feel real bloated. You know, I'm not having to eat a ton of volume. As you can see, it's visually a small meal, which is nice. So I can go into the gym, get after it, and not feel like I have a rock sitting in my stomach. So these are good things. And speaking of good things or important things, this week of training, probably one of the more important weeks of training that comes up, every maybe month and a half or 2 months in my training, which is a deload week. So looking at the week as a whole, you kind of go into it like, oh man, this is like a rest week, right? And in essence, it is. The goal is to drop fatigue, but that's done by decreasing volume, so total amounts of reps and sets per muscle group drops. Training intensity drops, so I'm not doing as heavy a load, and I'm also not approaching failure. I might stop, 3, 4, 5 reps shy of where I would typically go to hit failure, let alone doing anything like partials or drop sets to push beyond failure. None of that's done this week. And then even cardio is backed off a little bit. And again, all that is to drop fatigue. And the reason you want to drop fatigue is as you train, those stress hormones build up. It takes a toll on your nervous system. So with those hormones, you have things like cortisol, norepinephrine, which have their own roles, but when you continually push yourself and those hormones build, you start to create that imbalance where there's negative side effects to never letting those hormones kind of come back down and settle. So especially with like things like cortisol, norepinephrine, and when you pair that with a relatively low carb diet. So if you've been dieting for a while, all those things can contribute to affecting things like your sleep. So then if your sleep is off, now you have another element that's preventing your recovery. So as you can see, it's almost like diminishing returns. The harder you push, the harder your body can start to fight back, in terms of making progress and, ultimately getting lean or staying lean and building muscle, which I'm sure at some point that's what all of us want to do. So that's where deload week comes in. It allows me to chill out on the training a bit so my hormones can return to normal, you know, in terms of the cortisol. My sleep can improve, which even after about 3 days, I've already noticed a drastic improvement in my sleep. And then when I get back to it, I'll be able to push hard and actually take advantage of, you know, going heavier week to week, training to failure, because it's one thing, you know, to have enough energy to actually train so that you hit progressive overload so you can improve on your lifts week to week, but then you also want to recover from that progressive overload and build muscle. So that's why I put these deload weeks in, you know, typically prior to my competition. I would do it every like 5 or 6 weeks of my training. Didn't really take a true rest week. I mean, your peak week is kind of a little lighter, but I really didn't back off until I was forced to, and I noticed I was inflamed. I wasn't sleeping well. You know, I was even having a hard time getting a pump in the gym. So all those things are massive warning signs that you might need to chill out, either take a deload week or a full rest week. You know, put the calories, you know, bump them up slightly, if not put them at maintenance, so that you can help your body recover, and then you can hit it hard again in the next leg of your training. So that's, like if you guys are in my training app, that's how I designed most of the programs in there, to help regulate the amount of fatigue you'll build as you're following the training, as you're following your nutrition. You know, you'll notice every 5 or 6 weeks is a deload. So that section of time is one mesocycle in the program, and you deload, then move on to the second mesocycle. So both the cut and bulk programs have that. If you follow the workout of the week, you notice I regularly put in a deload week. And man, it's real. And in the moment you go, maybe I don't need one, you start training for another week or so, and you know, you'll find out pretty quick, okay, I'm gonna pretty quickly stop making progress, if not start going backwards if I don't take some time to rest and recover. So just as important as training hard is also recovering hard, or recovering with intent. So that is today's workout. It's a chest day. on a deload. Now, I am maybe 4 or 5 days into the deload, so I'm starting to feel a little bit better. Should have a decent pump, but I'm not gonna go too crazy. You'll see how I train. Decent weight, maybe 70-80% of what I normally do, but again, stopping 4 or 5 reps shy of failure, and still executing with good form. That's when weeks like this can slow things down, kind of take inventory of the body, see if there's any areas that are tweaked that you might otherwise have just pushed through because you're at a level of intensity. Yeah, that's kind of the 101 on the deload. I need to make some pre-workout, get myself to the gym, and then actually do this chest day. So let's get after it.
What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the video. Let's get ripping. A little push day today, second push day of the week. So day one, or the first push day, was more of bench and heavy dip focus. Today, we also are going to bench, but it's going to be a pin bench. So bench accessory, been loving this variation. We'll hit overhead presses, we'll hit a dumbbell incline press, we'll go another fly, a lateral raise, and then 2 triceps. So kind of when structuring like a push day, I like doing typically 3 chest movements, 2 shoulder, 2 triceps, 7 total movements. So chest movement, some sort of flat, some sort of incline, some sort of fly, shoulder, some sort of overhead press, some sort of lateral raise, and then triceps, some sort of push down variation, and some sort of like French press variation. Just trying to hit everything from every angle. Super fun one to train. But today, we'll start off with 3 heavy presses. First 2 will be like in that 4 to 6 range, kind of really focus on strength and building our bench. And then we'll get a sick pump from there after. We got right here, I just dried scoop. a scoop and a half probably 20 minutes ago, and it just kicked in. I feel freaking great. The Essential Pre, that's my go-to, always from Raw. This one is blue raspberry, super freaking delicious. Scoop and a half of your 300 milligrams caffeine. This one has the beta and the L-citrulline. I know I showed yesterday the non-stim one. So the non-stim one, or not non-stim, the tingle-free one I'll use on leg days. So it's essentially the same thing minus the beta, so I don't have that tingling feeling, but I love the tingling feeling on a push and a pull day, so that's why we get a scoop and a half of this, and I'll tell you what, I'm tingling like crazy, and it feels freaking great. So leg days, I don't like tingle. Upper body days, I freaking love it. So have that. Yeah, we'll get ripping. Get into this push day. Should be a fun one today. Let's go. All right, we're gonna get started with pin bench press today. So I got the pin set where it's literally like, these are nice because there's holes like every like probably half an inch, so I can get it really close to my chest. So I have it, it's probably like maybe half an inch off my chest, or it's honestly like almost touching my chest, which is perfect. So essentially I've been liking these more than a pause bench, because on a pause bench, if I were to pause, I have a tendency to still bounce, whereas on the pins, like you're forced to dead stop. So the variation I've been doing twice a week, so I've been regular benching once a week, doing this the second day, and driving off the pins, blowing up. We'll go 3 sets of 5, we got 325, just about 82%, but really focusing on dead stop and then pushing as hard as quickly as possible. Look at this shit, the drive, that's what's pushing hard with the chest. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Come on. Oh, whew. All right, aiming for 3 working sets. As you saw, that first was pretty tough. I barely got that last rep. Last week, it's kind of dependent on the pin, but last week I was probably like half an inch higher up. But that's because the racks I was using didn't have as many holes for spacing. So the Rogue racks are awesome because there's so many holes for spacing that you need perfectly right. But ideally, when I do a pin press, I almost want it where it's like exactly where I would bench. It's just that dead stop is what I'm looking for. So you can obviously play around with the pins too, where like, depending on where your weak point on a bench is, you can do it from there. So you can put them higher up and then really work on the lockout. For me, you know, I always miss my bench off that initial push. So it's good to do it. Also, I've been doing a lot of pin work. Pin squats, I did those yesterday. Pin front squats, but doing pin bench, pin overhead press, just different variations. Especially my second time going to lift throughout. So regular bench on the first day, pin bench on the second. I'll do regular squats on the first day, pin squats on the second, just kind of working on driving out the hole and like those weak points. And again, I love pause squats and pause bench, but the pins are a little better because you can't really cheat it. Because on pause, when I do a pause, sometimes like you still bounce a little bit, whereas this, you can't bounce, you know? It's like, you gotta go 0 to 100. And the big thing with these is like, I just didn't know that my chest is pumped to the freaking gills. And really it's because you have to pause and then you have to push so freaking hard. So that's it's almost like a good mental cue because it like reminds you like, get max intent. So barely got 5 in that first set. Hopefully we'll get these 3 by 5. I'm gonna take like a 5-minute rest in between, but yeah, 3 12 sets here, main pressing movement. And then we'll get into overhead presses. Be a good day. I would go set 3 here, dead stop, pause, drive. Fucking drive as hard as possible. Shoot 4. Ugh. No. Oh, come on. Oh. Ooh, all right, so pin bench ended up getting 544. Last week I got 3 sets of 5, but again, last week the rack I was using, it was definitely a higher up pin. It was probably like a half an inch more, and it's crazy how much that makes a difference. But I like that setup more. Ideally, on the setup, I want it to be where it's almost like a regular bench touching it. Because again, I want to just be more of a pause and just driving on the pins. Pins are freaking sick for, one, obviously working on being explosive on the bottom, but you get a nasty freaking pump with that. I know I say this every time I do pin bench, but every time it's you have to go, you have to push, so you have to dead stop, go, I promise you, your chest will be expanding. Let's just say that after one set, after 3 sets, it'll be massive. Let's just say that. Anyways, we'll go overhead press next. Kind of the same rep scheme, 3 sets, 4 to 6. I did 185 for a 3x5 last week, so I'm gonna try to hit 190. Again, same thing, be in that 4 to 6 range. If I can hit 3x5, that'd be sick. But again, 2 heavy presses. That's typically what I go to on a push day. On my first push day, flat bench dips. This one, pin bench or a bench variation, overhead press. As long as you're resting enough in between, I feel like I still like be within 5 pounds of if I only had overhead press first. So typically I can recover pretty quick in between. So we'll go 3 working sets here. That's what we're gonna do for everything. We're doing 7 exercises today, but 3 sets for everything. Yeah, just getting some good volume in, because nothing better than getting your strength work in and then getting a freaking sick pump after. So typically I always start with my main presses. So today we'll do 3 presses. We'll do a bench, overhead press, dumbbell incline. And then for our accessories, it'll be like isolation, chest flies, lateral raises, 2 tricep movements. So it's kind of the order of operations I perform it in. So yeah, let's get rolling. Exercise 2 for OHP time. All right, we'll go set 1 here. We've got 190, 3 sets, 4 to 6 range. I like wearing a belt, especially when I go like under 5 reps. But I'm using a Velcro one. This is new. Usually I wear like a broad belt, but I got one of these Velcro ones just to kind of play around with it, see if it like adds the same stability. And it's pretty decent. Like I feel like on this I don't need like a heavy, massive belt. And then also I'll probably start wearing these on cleans more. So kind of nice. But I always put the belt on here, and then actually I'm probably gonna take my shoes off. Usually I'd wear my Olympic lifting shoes, but if not, I hate pressing on a spongy surface. So I'd rather take my shoes off, have a nice hard surface, because then I rock back and forth too much. All right, we'll go set 2. I got 5 to that first set. I felt really good. I'm actually really happy with that. If I get 3x5, that's the goal. 190, need some good weight to move overhead. So I'm gonna go a little side angle here to show, like, one thing I'm really focused on, I like the belt to kind of keep me from arching too much, but I'm really thinking about squeezing my glutes. So you got loose glutes, and you're gonna end up going like that, but if you really think it's squeezing your glutes, and then pushing your head through the window and not like looking up like that, be able to stay nice and upright and be able to move some weight. So one thing, push the head through the window, strong glutes. That's a great way to press. And press off a flat surface. So if you got spongy shoes, just like deadlifts, I highly suggest taking them off. Either go barefoot on like a hard ground, or wearing like Olympic lifting shoes is a great alternative. Because when I have spongy shoes, I'll start rocking back and forth and I'll lose that tension. So yeah, set 2 here. Oh, wow, that's a grinder. Woo. Ooh. All right, incline press third. From here on out, we'll essentially do 3 sets, 7 and 9 range. Stick with the same weight and just, go 0 reps reserve every set. I like having those ranges at 7 and 9 range, so like trying to aim for that top of the range to start, and then, as the fatigue sets in, maybe closer to 7, but 30-degree incline, less rip. Cool. All right, we'll go get a nice chest pump going with the presses. So it's like, let's finish it off with some flies. So we'll go 3 sets flies, kind of more of a mid. I'll probably be a little more upright. Usually I go like kind of high to low, but I'm much trying to say like more mid, if that makes sense. So really focusing on that squeeze. I love flies for the squeeze and the stretch. So again, 3 sets, 7, 9, really, really ripping it. I freaking love cable flies. I love a good chest pump. Let's go. Ooh, this might be kind of heavy. I'll go lateral raises next. I'm gonna go dumbbell today, and I'm gonna go seated. I kind of just like the seated because it forces me to stay a little strict. Honestly, I've been loving a cable lateral raise or a machine lateral raise. I'm not a huge fan of dumbbell just because of that tension, but I did cables the other day and change it up, try a different variation. So we'll go here, slight pause, control on the way down, really focus on that. So yeah, trying to do lateral raises like 3 times a week to like hit the shoulders. Control. Heck yeah, those feel pretty good today. So, trying to do a slight pause and then control on the way down. Heck yeah. Finish with a tricep isolation. We'll go 2 movements today. Usually I just go 1, but I'm trying to get more arm work in because I'm not doing a shoulders and arms day anymore. I'm just doing legs push pull, legs push pull. I want to start upping my arm volume because I was only doing 1 tricep movement on each push day. So I'm only getting like 6 working sets, but I want to be like 10 to 12 range. So I'm gonna start doing 2 triceps on each day, 2 biceps on each day, 3 sets of each, so I get 12 working sets per week. So today we'll do a push-down variation, and then we'll do some sort of like French press variation to kind of hit it from 2 different angles. But straight bar push-down is goated. I don't like the rope. I like the straight bar so I can really sit there and just lock in and push down. So 3 sets, you know the deal, 7-9 range. All right. So last move of the day, we're gonna finish with a dumbbell skull crusher. So I used to do a ton, actually, I used to do a ton of easy bar skull crusher, but I'm recently going more dumbbell because I feel like the range of motion's been good. And I was thinking about doing easy bar instead. No, we'll go dumbbell day. We'll go dumbbell. We'll go 3 sets here. Keep those elbows locked in. Big stretch. Flexing at the top. Think about rotating at the top and trying to like give a thumbs up. All right, full push day complete. That was a solid session. I got a really good pump towards the end, but again, start with our heavy strength work with our pin press. Good variation to help build your bench, especially if you have a sticking point at the bottom. Overhead presses are goated for building your bench, also for building your delts, and it's just fun to lift weight over your head. So 2 strength movements, incline press for some extra volume for chest, flies for a nice pump, and then lateral raises, 2 tricep movements. Finished it off, so 7 movements, 3 chest, 2 shoulder, 2 tricep, kind of my go-to setup, and solid day. Solid freaking day. Nothing better than a good push day. You know, I'm wearing a nice medium shirt so the arms can pop out a little bit. Now, what I do on every push and pull day as of late, because I'm cutting, 40-minute incline walk, 12.5-degree incline, 3.2 miles per hour. I'm not going to show that because that's boring AF, but I've been trying to get 15,000 plus steps a day as I cut. I'm going to make a full day of eating because yesterday I did like a refeed day, and I think I kind of find a good strategy for myself where I'll eat in a caloric deficit, and then every 8th day I need a refeed in order to prevent benching. But I'll probably record a full day of eating. No, I might as well just do it tomorrow, so I'll probably have that up later this week. So appreciate you guys. Stack the damn days. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Look who's back.
Hey,
Back again.
after 6 months.
That's right. 6 months.
6 months.
6 months. What have you been doing for 6 months?
Just therapy because I get a surgery here, and I came back.
Yep. 6 months.
6 months.
So we, for the last month, been training again. About a month.
Yeah, month and a half.
Month and a half. 6 weeks.
Yeah, like 6 weeks.
Yeah. And then how much is your weight up now?
Like 101 kilos.
How much did you increase?
Oof. After the surgery, like 10 kilos.
10 kilos. So 20 pounds. He lost 20 pounds from not training, had surgery on his wrist, hurt his wrist, and then after surgery couldn't train for almost what, 4 months? 3 months?
Almost 4 months.
Almost 4 months. Now he's been back 6 weeks, putting on size, getting strength. How you feeling?
Great. I'm feeling bigger, but with a little bit more of fat.
A little more fat.
A little bit.
That's okay. Just a little bit of baby fat for the big baby.
For El Niño.
El Nino. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead. It's telling me what time it is. It's time to get big.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
Al
it.
fin, muchachos.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get ready. We're gonna do some chest today. He's gonna be here for the next couple of days, so we're gonna be able to go through some of the upper body workouts. We're gonna do chest, we're gonna do back, we're gonna do arms. I don't know, maybe our legs, maybe. We'll see.
Maybe.
Maybe. So you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do this. Good. Good. Good, a little more stretch. Go up a little higher. There you go. Good. Good, we're gonna do about 12 to 15 reps.
Okay.
Make sure you focus on being able to get your form. Good stretch at the very top, squeeze at the very bottom. Good. A couple more reps and then we're gonna increase the weight. One more. Good. Raise the weight by 2. All right, so now we're gonna wait about a minute and a half, catch your breath, do another set, raise the weight, hit about 10 reps, give or take 2 reps, and then just really get a good stretch, come down, really good contraction, focus on great range of motion, but also a really good peak contraction at the bottom. 2, 3, 4, good. 5, 6. It's time to get big. 2 more. 1 more. Stretch, 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 stretch. And squeeze. Good job. Good. Raise the weight by 2. Good. So again, we're waiting about 90 seconds for the rest periods. That was the second warm-up set. Raise the weight by another 20 pounds. Now we're going to go ahead and be able to do another set. Again, 8 to 10 reps for the third set. This is still warm-up sets. Usually you do a little more warm-up sets in the very beginning of the workout versus doing your second, third exercises where you can end up only doing 2 warm-up sets because you're already warmed up. 3, go. 4, go. 5, go. 6, seven, 8, we'll do 2 more. 9, 1 more. Good. Now we'll raise the weight. Let's go down to 154. We'll add 3, and we'll bring it down to 8 reps. We'll do our first working set. So again, so what we're focusing on now is the working set. We raised it 3 more plates. Why? Because he was easily doing 10 reps. So now we're going to go ahead and get that 8 to 10 rep range on the working set. number one. Working set number one coming up. 1, 2, good. 3, 4, 5, good. 6, 7, 8. Okay, we're gonna make this into a working set. How do we do that? We're gonna add 5. Go, 5. 1, go. 2, 3. I want you to pause at the bottom. Pause. Again. Down. Pause. Again. Pause. One more. Pause. 5-second hold. 3, 2, 1. Good job. Raise the weight to 187. Rest for 90 seconds, and then we're going to do another set. Go. 1. Good. 2. Good. 3, 4, 6. Good. Come on. 7. Good. 8. Good. 9. Good. 10. Good. Go. 11. 12. You got 3. 3. Easy. 1. 2. One more. All the way down and hold it. 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2. Good job.
That 3?
That's right. That's Mexican exchange rate, pesos to American seconds. Let's go. Go one more heavier. 1. Good. 2. Good. 3. Come on. 4. Come on. 5. Keep going. Keep going. 6. Go. Halfway there. 1. 2. 3 more. 1. 2. Hold it. 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2. Come on. 1. Oh. Uno más. That's it. That's how you do it. Oh. Yes. Oh, there you go. Now you're getting happy, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. He has the burrito pump. Yes.
No. The double scoop of EVPAQ.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, I take more.
Oh, you take more?
It was my secret,
That's it.
but not anymore.
Yeah. No longer your secret.
Yeah.
Good, good, good. Good. You ready to do some presses?
Yeah.
Let's do this. We're gonna do incline press. Grab some dumbbells. Let's rock and roll. Come on. Just give me 8.
Okay.
Okay? All right, guys, here's a tip for you. Let me do this. Good. All right. Feet are flat. Always start from the bottom up. Feet are flat. Legs are down. Do not move around your lower body. Keep it very, very focused and keep your midsection and core tight. Hands come down right to the chest level and then drive back up again. Good. A lot of people ask me, can you bring your hands closer together or touch? You can, but do not bounce the weight against each other. Good. And make sure that when you're doing your warm-up sets, you're okay with doing 7, 8 reps. You do not have to do 12 to 15 reps on the warm-ups. How'd it feel?
Great. I have a question.
No, put those back and then we'll ask a question.
No more questions. Which one is better? Like this or like this?
It's not better, it's completely different. They're both good. You gotta use both styles.
Okay.
Yeah.
Both. One on one.
Yeah,
One
or-
day, then one day.
One day, or sometimes like you can do one working set on regular. regular, and then you can do 1 to 2 working sets on neutral. So you can either do them on split days, or you can actually do 2 variants on the same day.
Okay.
Good. 1, 2. Feet flat, don't fidget. Okay.